You're down by 1, seconds left on the clock. The ball leaves your hands, arcs through the air, and misses. Society tells a very specific story about moments like this. It's the myth of the natural. We are taught that human beings fall into neat categories. You are either born with a gift for math, art, or sports, or you aren't. If talent is something you simply inherit, struggling to learn a new skill carries a heavy psychological weight. Under this framework, a missed shot or a failing grade isn't a problem to solve. It's evidence that you don't have what it takes. Viewing talent as innate turns every challenge into a test of your permanent identity. Instead of looking at failure as a chance to gather useful data, you start viewing it as a threat to who you are. To understand how we actually cope with failure, Stanford psychologist Carol S. Dweck spent decades bringing students into her lab and giving them difficult puzzles to solve. She discovered that how we respond to a challenge depends on a single underlying belief. Her research revealed that we generally process our potential through one of two distinct frameworks. The first is the fixed mindset. Believing intelligence is static means exerting effort proves you aren't smart, and failing is a permanent label. The second is the growth mindset. Here, abilities are muscles developed through work. Failure is just feedback directing your energy. This belief creates a boundary, dictating whether you accept your current abilities as a final destination or view them as a baseline that you will move beyond as you gain experience. We look at elite athletes and assume their greatness flows effortlessly from their genetics. We watch them perform and assume they were destined for the podium from day one. Take Michael Jordan. He was famously cut from his high school varsity team. The college he dreamed of playing for didn't recruit him, and he was passed over by the first 2 NBA teams that could have drafted him. Jordan responded to that high school rejection by leaving his house at 6 a.m. every day to practice before school. Even at the peak of his career, he spent hours shooting alone after losses and relentlessly drilled his defensive weaknesses. He outworked everyone on the floor. Tiger Woods applies the same logic. Rather than resting on his tournament wins, he intentionally drops golf balls in the worst possible lies, practicing terrible shots to force his body and mind to adapt to extreme difficulty. Legendary basketball coach John Wooden built his dynasties on this philosophy. He rarely talked about winning or losing. He asked his players one question: did you put in total preparation and maximum effort? The athletes who leave a mark on history do not rely on their innate gifts. They actively hunt down the hardest obstacles and lean into the struggle, knowing that greatness is a process of constant construction. These mindsets don't appear out of nowhere. They are programmed into us from childhood, often by the people trying hardest to encourage us. When a child aces a test quickly and we tell them, "You did it so fast, you're so smart," we think we are building their confidence. In reality, praising intelligence teaches them that their value comes from being perfect. The moment work gets difficult, they will avoid the challenge rather than risk making a mistake and losing their smart status. The alternative is process praise. This sounds like, "You worked so hard on that problem, and I love the new strategy you tried when you got stuck." By celebrating the strategy and the sweat, you reward grit. The child learns that their self-worth is tied to their perseverance, making them eager to tackle harder problems regardless of the immediate outcome. The specific words adults use to validate success wire a developing brain to either fear failure or hunt for the next opportunity to grow. As we enter the adult world, these habits dictate how we lead companies and manage our personal lives. A leader with a fixed mindset views every interaction as a test of their superiority. They hide their deficiencies, surround themselves with people who make them feel flawless, and deflect blame the moment a project fails. A growth-minded leader looks for colleagues who will aggressively challenge their ideas. They run toward their own blind spots and treat a failed product launch as the necessary cost of finding the right market fit. This dynamic reaches into our closest bonds. A fixed mindset often seeks a partner who provides constant validation, effectively acting as a mirror to prove they are already perfect. But those who value growth look for partners who challenge their flaws and encourage them to evolve. In every domain, an obsession with innate talent demands the illusion of perfection. A commitment to growth demands actual, messy, continuous progress. The most critical takeaway from Dweck's work is that your mindset is a choice. Because it's a belief, you have the power to change how you process the world today. Step 1 is catching your internal dialogue. When you face a roadblock, notice when your brain defaults to telling you, "I'm not a natural at this," or "I simply can't do this." Step 2 is applying a single word, yet. Append it to the end of every limitation. You aren't bad at coding, you just can't write the script, yet. Step 3 is changing how you validate yourself and those around you. Stop praising raw talent. Start actively celebrating the strategy, the focus, and the effort required to push through a bottleneck. History's most exceptional figures did not emerge fully formed. They were the ones willing to look foolish, stumble, and endure the discomfort of learning until they mastered their craft. True success does not come from proving how great you already are. It comes from the courage to embrace the struggle, step into the unknown, and start growing.